as we've got the sports director from WFB joining us to talk some ball here on this Wednesday morning as fall camp. We had media availability yesterday and Monday, nothing today, but we got to watch the Tigers out there on the Ponderosa the last 2 days. JD, good morning.
Hey, Noah, good morning. Beautiful day in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Nice and sunny, and I got to tell you, August is like the worst time of year in terms of heat and humidity and all that, but this August has not been so bad. It's been bearable, so nothing to complain about this morning.
Yeah, yesterday we were out on the practice field, and it was a nice little overcast. It wasn't too hot watching the Tigers get after it. Always nice to hear your voice, but I want to get it started with yesterday. And really Monday as well. It seems like the intensity's been picked up, especially from the coaching staff. There's been a bit more of a fire to them with BK on Monday and some of the coordinators yesterday, right?
Yeah, you're definitely getting a chance to see some heated interactions and coaching. I think Joe Sloan, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but he kind of joked with us the other day. He goes, you notice during my press conference I said to you guys, as you guys have seen, you guys get so much media access. I think you're about to be in our team meetings in the afternoon because of all the access we've gotten. But
right.
there was one time where they were doing 7-on-7, and Van Buren threw a check down and it got swatted away. And Joe Sloan was very animated with him, let him know that was not the right read. He should have gone to another spot with the ball. Certainly you hear Brian Kelly get animated. Saturday it was, right? Or was that when did Nussmeier threw the long bomb to Barry and Brown? He caught it, scored the touchdown. Monday. That was Monday, right? Everyone was hooping and hollering, and then Kelly made it clear that while they were doing a bunch of cheerleading, that the play clock was running on the extra point, and that could cost them a penalty. So those are the kind of things you get a chance to kind of see. Sometimes the chain gang maybe isn't lined up where they're supposed to be, or different people aren't moving as quickly as they're supposed to, and you hear the coaches get on them. So once again, I mean, I've said it on this show already, but it really is cool to be able to go in and watch entire practices. I mean, that is something that in my 24 years at Channel 9 just has not happened. And Coach Kelly, really does give us an opportunity to have a much better feel of the football team and the best players and how the team is going to look this year.
Yeah, and obviously yesterday after practice got to speak to some of the LSU athletes, one of them being TDZ Green, who really caught my eye, and I think most people's eye, on Monday when he made multiple big-time plays, and it didn't seem like there was anybody out there who could guard him defensively. Then he spoke yesterday and talked about putting on some weight, getting ready to be more physical here in 2025. What have you seen from the sophomore tight end out of Zachary, and was there anything that stood out that he said yesterday meeting with the media?
Well, I've seen what everyone else has seen, a guy that's been pretty unstoppable at practice, whether they're doing red zone work or 11-on-11 work. He's just very tall, freakish problem with his wingspan and his ability to catch the football. And during his interview yesterday, and he said what people typically say when they're going into their second year. My first year was a lot of thinking, and I'm not really playing. It's slowing me down, and now there's no thinking at all. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he's going 100%, and he has gained weight. Did he say something like he's put on 20 pounds since camp started or something like that? I was trying to get it exactly, but I know that he said he was 252 at the end of last season, and I almost forgot he had done the basketball thing, and that's a strain on your body in terms of gaining weight, losing weight, all that. But he's put on weight. I think he's definitely, he's not going to be confused with Bauer Sharp when it comes to blocking and whatnot. But I think that he's got a chance to really be a serious weapon. I think I told you last week I was at practice and saw him and Nick Anderson standing side by side in a formation, and said, look at these two trees,
right.
You can throw the ball to. So, a great interview yesterday. Enjoyed covering him first at East Feliciana where he picked up football very late. I think his dreams were to be a basketball player, and I think the first football game he played in, he caught 2 passes, and then by Saturday morning after the Friday game, he had gotten an offer from Houston to play football. So he picked up football, pretty late, but obviously no problem picking it up quickly.
Yeah, it's worked out well for him. You bring up Bauer Sharp, and I think he's – I don't want to say been somewhat of a surprise, but I think he's kind of – his athleticism has definitely caught me off guard watching him. He was brought in. He's a former quarterback, and then he becomes a tight end, and I thought he was brought in really to kind of be that inline blocker to fill that role. But he seems to be much more of a weapon than I think I initially anticipated. What have you seen from the transfer tight end?
Well, I think he brings physicality, right? I mean, he's kind of, I don't want to say he's got a lot of meat on the bone, and certainly I think will help him in, blocking and then catching a ball and putting his head down and punishing some people. To your point, I think LSU tweeted the play the other day. He ran down the sideline, and Nussmeier hit him with a bullet over the top of the defense for about a 40-yard touchdown. I'm not sure how much we'll see of that, but certainly I enjoyed talking to him. We enjoyed talking to him when they brought him for an interview back in the spring. It's a guy who is from Alabama, I believe, and has a lot of family who are Crimson Tide fans, and was at Southeastern and Hammond America there for 3 years before going to Oklahoma. And I think I was at practice on Saturday talking to Dwayne Jenkins, who's the head football coach over at Lutcher, and they were saying, yeah, when he showed up at Southeastern, they were like, this dude's different. This guy may not be around here very long. He's a little bit different than everybody else. And played 3 years at quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So very interesting career he's had, and I think that he's another very nice addition to the team in a spot that's kind of needed, actually. Tradez is technically a tight end, but obviously Sharp can do some things in the blocking scheme that will help them a lot.
And then yesterday you saw some red zone work for the Tigers, and you've seen Jawan Jamison kind of move back to the running back room. And then yesterday, I think on a couple of the second-team offensive plays, Jawan subbed back in at quarterback there when they got inside the 10 to be kind of, that wildcat gadget type of guy. He's kind of been an answered prayer for LSU this season, where when Hurley obviously was out, you saw Jawan move into the quarterback room, and now with JT Lindsey being suspended, he's moved back in to the running back room. How much of Jawan do you think we'll see? Because I know BK said he thought that they were going to be potentially redshirting him, but now with JT Lindsey being suspended and needing some depth there in the running back room, it seems like Jawan's gotten a lot of work over the last couple of days.
Yeah, Brian Kelly's quote was, he'll definitely play 4 games, but does he play more than 4 games? To your red shirt point there. And like you said, they're down another scholarship running back. So basically you've got 3 guys. You've got Caden Durham, you've got Caleb Jackson, and you've got Harlan Berry as your 3 scholarship running backs. And so we were kind of chatting about it. If he's a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife, does he have a spot when you've got so many offensive weapons? Certainly they had been running him in the red zone and around, inside the 10-yard line. Certainly that was a bugaboo for LSU a year ago, getting in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. He does have talent. He does have shiftiness. And so, yeah, I'm curious to see how much they do use him down there. I will say this. I think using him will be better than that shotgun play they ran to Caleb Jackson yesterday that went straight through his hands and then got scooped and scored for 90 yards by Hunter DeLay. I think Joe Sloan and that one took out his cigarette lighter and lit that play on fire. I didn't tweet anything or say anything about that yesterday. I didn't want to, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or whatever, but that play, it was not good.
Yeah,
so
it was ugly.
I'm rooting for Caleb. I hope they get him the ball. I hope he can power over some people and have a better season. But I guess that's what practice is for, to realize what we need to continue to practice and maybe what we don't need to continue to practice. So,
Yeah, and you bring up yesterday's practice. We obviously saw some 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 stuff, and it felt like the defense really won the day yesterday outside of that one big Xavion touchdown in the beginning of the 11-on-11 period. How different, it's kind of caught us all, I guess not off guard, but it's been different because so far really under Kelly's tenure, very rarely at fall camp has the defense been kind of as dominant as it has been and won days consistently. It's always seemed like the offense was the well-oiled machine, and right now it seems like the defense has kind of flipped the script this fall camp. What have been some of your takeaways defensively?
Yeah, I thought yesterday there were a lot of swatted defense passes by the secondary. Balls that got knocked down and defense. I just think they're going to be so much better at safety. I think Tamarcus Cooley and A.J. Halsey, those two guys are veteran guys. You need people in the safety spot who are going to make good decisions, who are going to be good playmakers, who are not going to gamble and lose. And I think those two guys bring a lot of veteran experience that they need at the safety spot. Bernard Gooden was a fantastic interview yesterday, and been making a lot of plays on the defensive line. I think the addition of him and Patrick Payton will be big to the team in terms of rushing the passer. Certainly, people are excited about Jack Pyburn off the edge as well. Harold Perkins, this is it. We've been talking a lot about Harold Perkins for going on 4 years. How good is he? Is it his fault? Has he been played out of position? The injury last year. A lot of Harold Perkins talk, and as Blake Baker said during the press conference, doesn't look like he's a guy coming off a knee injury. He's flying around. He's making plays. We'll see if that continues when we're playing games for real. With Weeks back there, I think I saw Donovan Keys make a pass breakup yesterday. Ashton Stamp suddenly a junior on one corner and making plays. Monsieur Delane, as we talked about, a veteran on one corner, on the other corner. You're excited about DJ Pickett coming up. If you're running DJ Pickett's second team, you probably got some good talent out there. So I think that they have really addressed their needs. I think that there are not any gaping holes on this team as there were in years past. I think that that's what Brian Kelly means by this is my best roster. There may not be a Heisman Trophy winner on there. They might be. I don't know. Or first-round draft picks at wide receiver. But they just seem to have, top to bottom, a very good roster, an exciting team. But the question is, could they still have a very good team and lose the first game? Now, if they go play a good game and they lose the first game, and what is the storyline? Is the storyline, this is a very good team, we played a very tough team in a tough atmosphere, we came up a little bit short, we're going to win pretty much the rest of them here? Or is it going to be, oh no, we've lost 6 openers in a row, sky is falling, Brian Kelly sucks, blah, blah, blah? Is it going to be that if that's what happens? So, hopefully it's a case of they show the backbone, march in there, and find a way to win. But I think it goes back once again to the offensive line. And you've got a lot of great weapons. You've got a great quarterback. You can score points, but you need the protection up front.
And you mentioned that you got to talk to a lot of some of the players, and there was some talk around kind of the chemistry and all of the way that the guys kind of operate together. You had Blake Baker saying it's an egoless defense. Did you get that feel of the camaraderie and chemistry after talking to the guys yesterday? Yeah,
and Blake Baker had a quote the other day. I don't know why some people just don't understand, like, quotes and talk. Like, he said, we haven't lost the game yet, but there's no pettiness. And then some people just don't understand we haven't lost the game yet. Well, what he means by that is everything's hunky-dory and everything's great when you haven't lost the game.
He's not predicting a loss.
Yes, right. I mean, things are always tested when you lose. That's when, and especially in today's era, when people can get on the internet and read things and have people in their ear telling them different stuff. So, Baker said that there's nobody on the team holding out information from somebody else because they don't want their spot taken or any of that it's an unselfish group. I think you often pick up things from doing interviews, quite frankly. And all the guys we interviewed yesterday on the offensive side of the ball, Barry and Brown, TDZ Green, defensive side of the ball, they brought Bernard Gooden. Who was the other guy they brought? I'm trying to think. They brought Ashton Stamps. Yeah, all these guys, just seem to be upbeat, positive kids, and I like what I'm seeing. I'm like what I'm hearing from these guys so far. I think it's got a chance to be a very, very good team. And so we'll see. You're playing a lot of ranked teams. Your Floridas and your South Carolinas are ranked in the top 15. You got to go to Alabama. You got to go to Ole Miss. You got to go to Oklahoma for the first time in program history. And every week, there's really no time where you can say, "Yep, we're winning this week, no problem." Every week's gonna be a battle.
Yeah, and when you're looking at, you brought up the offensive line. It still doesn't feel like they've gotten all 5 spots kind of figured out. I think the tackle spots are somewhat figured out, and they've obviously announced Braylon Moore as the center. What's your concern level with the game being 17 days away, and it seems like they're still trying to figure something out at the guard spots?
Yeah, I think they're set at tackle, right? If quarterback's the most important position on the field and left tackle can't be that far behind, I guess Tyree Adams has got that locked up to protect Nussmeier's blind side. 6'7", small kid. On the left side, he played a lot in the Texas Bowl. He played on the road at Florida, so he's gotten a taste of the action. But yeah, the guard spots, they've been rotating in and out, right? You've got Josh Thompson and Cohen Eccles has been working a bit at right guard. Chester over at left guard. Some people in and out. So we have a football game 2 weeks from Saturday. So I would hope that in the next week and a half, they've got a better idea of who to block in and who's going to start, and what's the rotation going to be there, and then their signals and how to deal with the crowd noise and all of that. I can't say I've watched a ton of the offensive line and can speak that thoroughly on it, but certainly Brad Davis has been knowing for a long time that this is going to be a big year for the offensive line and him to get it all right after losing 4 guys to the NFL. And, then you got a guy like Ori Williams, who's, was he 6'8"?
Mm-hmm.
They got some big dudes out there, just a matter of playing.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of that pressure that comes, that's put on this offensive line, obviously some of it has to do with some inexperience, but a lot of it's just because you're kind of looking for a weakness, especially offensively, because when you look at the skill positions on this offense, obviously you got to talk to Barry and Brown some yesterday. It feels like they're loaded there and really makes the fan base comfortable, but then that adds to the pressure of really needing those 5 guys on the O-line to figure it out.
Yeah, if you're a wide receiver on this team and you don't practice, you're going to be forgotten about pretty quickly, because it's like every time you talk about somebody, you forget about somebody else. Oh, look, there's Kyle Parker. Oh, he just made like 3 catches. And then it's Barry and Brown going deep. And, oh, yeah, Chris Hilton, he's the fastest guy in America. He's over here. And Nick Anderson's this big weapon to throw the football to. And, oh, look, there's Xavier Thomas. He's catching everything at practice. He's yesterday that was the best play from the offense. I think they were running red zone 11 on 11, and Nussmeier's back in the pocket. It was collapsing. He fired a bullet across the middle, and Xavier in the middle of traffic goes up and snags the thing. And so, I don't think Brian Kelly was talking over promising when he said we've got 8 guys that are impactful all SEC type receivers. I think they've got that. And then you throw in, like we said, our TDZ Green, Caden Durham. Your running attack, I'm not going to make any comparisons to 2019, but in 19, you didn't really have a power running game. You had a shifty running back and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who could run over people, here and there. But it wasn't like there was a Leonard Fournette or a Jeremy Hill or a Stephen Ridley or Ali Broussard, one of these guys that was like 220, 230, 240, that trucking people. So, if they can pass the ball to set up the run and Durham can do his thing, it's all you need.
You talk about the depth at wide receiver, maybe the depth at defensive line, but more so at wide receiver. When people read and get these practice reports that you put out, it feels like people are so obsessed with finding out who the starter is, and I think it's because LSU hasn't had really the depth that they have this year. Is it fair to say that whenever you look at this or whatever people should digest from the practice report, it's like you do have 8 guys that can play, and there will be packages where it's not just going to be the same 4 guys you see at wide receiver every play or the same 4 defensive linemen line up every play.
Yeah, Lloyd. I mean, I think that crossed my mind yesterday. It's like, who's number one? Well, I don't know how to answer that. You know,
Right.
who is the top receiver? Who's your go-to? Like, I don't think anyone really has separated themselves because they're all so good. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody comes up with one off the top of their head, but I don't feel like there's a number one out there. I mean, I didn't even mention Aaron Anderson just now, and he's the leading receiver in catches and yards from a season ago, and he's been practicing back out there. So yeah, I just think it's a matter of they're going to send 4 guys out for passes, and then Sloan the other day, we kind of small chatted with him, and I asked him, I said, "Is this the most depth you've had at wide receiver?" He goes, no question. He goes, "We got two rotations of guys that we can put in and out." So, and another thing too, Lloyd, is that last year, for basically the entire year, they didn't feel like they could throw a deep post because they didn't have the speed. They didn't have anybody out there that could run better than the 4.6, and obviously don't have that problem now with Hilton if he stays healthy. Barry and Brown. Great journalism yesterday when I asked him how fast he is. He said fast. That was my day of work. I called it a day. Nick Anderson and some others. I mean, so they can stretch it now. They got guys that can take the top off. So there you go.
There's some people that are starting to meet him in this room that are once you did the impression, they started, "Oh, this is real."
The what impression?
Just some of the things that you hear, like Christian is new to this LSU media, so occasionally there'll be some things like, "Oh, it's not all conjecture."
Yeah. There'll be some inside jokes and some impersonations and stuff, and they'll be like, "What the hell are these guys talking about?"
It's a different language when you're out on the practice field.
It is. It's we're all out there. We all like trying to take notes and look like we're doing a good job, and like you did back in school, Lloyd. Back at when you went to Menard, right?
I did.
Is that what you were doing? I mean, when you were making straight A's at Menard, and your conduct grades and your handwriting grades were all good. That's what was happening.
Exactly.
So.
Sterling reputation.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the hall. That's shocking.
Best personality.
Oh yeah. Well, they said. I remember one day in class, one of my classmates said, "Well, he's gonna be a loser or something," because I was always cutting up and doing impressions in class and stuff. And the teacher shook her head like she was almost disappointed, and she said, "No. Somehow people like him tend to make it." So here I am making a chat with you guys this morning. So here I am.
There you go.
Yeah, send this clip to her.
Well, JD, we appreciate your time. How was the Texas club last Saturday?
Oh, it was the most profitable concert in Red Rock and Blue history. We had almost 700 people show up. The bands pretty much all donated their time. The expenses were very low. I think we cleared close to $15,000 on the concert alone. We presented 4 checks to the Louisiana military charities that night that totaled close to $55,000. And we had a great year with our softball tournament, our concert, everything. We're going to move the softball tournament into April next year to get out of the heat of the summer. We're excited about that. And we'll work on a Caterpillar reunion 4. So I appreciate everybody who came out, was a part of that. It was a big night.
Well, that's awesome, JD. Well, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you again soon.